What's up, dudes? Here we are. My phone. My phone's done, I think. And so here we are trying to do this on a computer. Am I on? Are we live? Is this number 8? Dude, reset. Tuesday Night Live 008. Hopefully this is working here. Welcome, dudes. I don't know what's happening. It shows live. Oh boy, hang on a second. Are we there? Are we good? I promise you, it's if I could do the same thing on the internet more than once, like honest to God, my life it would be crazy because it never happens that way. And I'm on a real computer. I'm on a real computer on real internet. The only thing open is this one page, and somehow there's going to be a problem with this. I'd love to learn more. Current viewers. Doesn't show anybody live. Oh, maybe we got two. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna act like there's 7 million people watching this right now, and if it works, it works. If not, it's gonna go to YouTube. So, dude, reset. No editing. Tuesday Night Live, number 8. Thanks for coming. Thanks for putting up with my technical difficulties. There's literally no words. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to be worth a hoot or not. So until I can see somebody comment and say, you look like the old 8-bit Pac-Man game, I'm just going to talk. So last week was good. I had a lot of follow-up, and so that's what I'm going to maybe talk about this evening a little bit. Is a lot of guys really like this group. They really like the knowledge that is being disseminated, and but they don't necessarily know what to do in the group. So do whatever you want. Really, I mean, uh, be the dude you've always wanted to be. Um, what's that mean, right? It's gonna mean something different to all of us. But like in the group, post your workouts if you want. We're stoked for you. Some of us will do those workouts. Um, Post promotions at work, and if you're a boss, promote hiring or like talk about hiring or firing somebody. Like there's guys on the come up, there's guys on the top, there's guys in the middle. Um, we have dudes in this group. I think maybe essentially from every industry, and so um, a lot of times the reason the group a lot of dudes don't know what to post is because they can post what they do and what they know and what they can defend. And so I think if somebody has a question, they're going to go somewhere else in the world. And I think this group might be a better place for some people genuinely to network. Um, and I know we think we all know the right answers to stuff and we know the right things, but it's like, has anybody interconnected? I know we've interconnected on here as far as like becoming friends and maybe maybe watching another dude's kind of thing similar to what Dude Reset is or another group that they're a part of. Um, but there's a lot in this group, and so you might just put a note in the in an open chat and just says like whatever your thing is, and so try it that way. That's you could do that, but ultimately we want to be better dudes. So professional stuff, fitness stuff, health, wellness, diet. I mean, what to do, where to go, that kind of thing. And so I think anything that kind of goes in line with that and what you want to do, because sometimes as dudes, we need to let it out, right? We need a place to put it. And kicked my dog. Didn't mean to, but we need a place to put it, right? And so we all have something to say, or we have something that we want to convey. And so, like there again, we talked about this last week. Like we have to get down to like the root, not even the foundation. We're underneath the foundation. We're really in that root system of who we are, right? And so, like this group means whatever to whomever, and some dudes are getting loads of positivity out of this group, and some check it out and then dip because it's not for them. Um, and so that's kind of like that's who it's for is for the dude that wants to reset, the dude that wants to improve, the dude that understands it's not just about him, but it's about his family and his community and on down the line. And so that's what this group is for. And so if you're waiting on me to do something for you besides motivate, you're missing the cusp. I'll challenge you if you want. I'll excite you maybe, give you a little tickle. uh, but like, you know what I mean? Like, but if you want me to like be I'll say personal trainer because I'm not a coach and I'm not a whatever. But I had a dude reach out to me, and I'm gonna talk about this for a minute because this can definitely go to you as well. And he basically was like, dude, back awesome group, man, I dig it. I'm just confused on like what I offer. He's like, what do you offer? So what are you into? What are you doing? And so I dug and I tried to answer this question. I was like, man, that's a lot. It goes back a lot. But I'd say in present terms, terminology, I'm a yoga teaching, personal training, life motivator. And so if anything, if anything in your world fits in those, I don't want to say boxes because it's definitely I'm not a box. So, but like if you want to if you want to get a little more flexibility, a little more strength, you finally want to run a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, a marathon. You want to do a triathlon. You want to do a pull up. You want to be able to go to your kids' school and do their fun little field day events when they have like, the end of school year stuff. You don't want to just stand on the sidelines and clap, knowing you're humiliated inside because you can't do anything. That's how I felt. Sad, man. I just talked to my wife about this the other day when her and I first hooked up, and I was in whatever mode I was in, and she was training for a half marathon, and I was just her cheering section, and it was like cool, but like also humiliating. Like, ugh. So let that stuff that bothers you bother you, and let it fuel you, you know. Um, but yeah, so back to like to me, like if you look at Dude Reset for the last couple of years, it's been hammer dog and gym sessions, right? Like letting the frustrations out, like building something that I wanted to look at or I was proud of. And so we all know weightlifting, go to the gym, and what we hopefully all learn in all of that is like weightlifting, bodybuilding, powerlifting, strength, and conditioning. They're all different. Um, and so I learned a ton about a ton in that time. But then that's why I wanted to step up and step into the personal trainer course because there's way more to it. And so in the personal trainer course that gave me more of a repertoire to really offer because as a yoga teacher that wasn't cutting the mustard for me. It didn't. That you need that, and now I understand how much you need that, but it wasn't my only thing. And so this personal trainer thing, I can do, there's just so much more. It just opens up so much more, and so much more than just going to the gym and lifting weights, right? We all need to do that, and there's a certain number of exercises that we need to execute weekly as men, to maintain our manhood, and so we can do that. But like, dude, there's so much more to this, and then so much more to it at this age and level of understanding of life. And so like, if you need to gain some strength, lose some weight, you're working, but you're not being able to stick with it all day, or you're finally at the end of the work day, like, all right, I got a little bit more, I'm ready to go, and it's like, if I just bring my gym clothes or my bicycling or running, walking, hiking, name the thing, pickleball, racquetball, whatever it is, if I bring those clothes with me and I don't go home or I don't sit down or whatever the case is, right? You keep that train moving. Um, this stuff just becomes real simple. And what I've ultimately learned and the importance is what we need, what we are lacking as men, and what we need to do to overcome that is what I've learned. And so you can go to the gym, you can hit the treadmill, you can jump on a bike, you can buy a Peloton, you can go to Whole Foods and buy nothing but organic, and still not necessary. I mean, you're gonna make gains in whatever aspect, but like, and still not necessarily be doing it right. And that's where somebody that has a little bit of knowledge can put a little plan together, can monitor, can know what they're looking for. That's what somebody like me can do. I mean, I can do a lot of things physically. I'm not trained mentally, but I understand a lot of the mental stuff that even yoga, and in the yoga training that I have what's called mindful resilience training. So um, there's just another level of understanding humanity, from a human level, psychology level. So I just bring a certain, I don't know, I bring a certain angle to things. And anybody that knows me a little bit or a little more or a lot bit, right? Um, they'll attest to that, and some in a very good and positive way, and some kind of in a little bit of an annoying, like, ah, he won't shut up way. And I'm actually good with that, and that's fine. And so there's always going to be that person, and I'm that person. We all have talents. We all have special gifts, and so instead of trying to be something else like I did for essentially my whole life, now I'm just being who I am. Where did that come from? That came from getting a relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which I think we all need to understand that. That's the only way to heaven. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a theologian. Um, I just know we have to have that higher power, and if it's not Jesus and you're not going to heaven, then I get confused. So beyond that, I'm out. But I have two buddies in this group that have been spiritual mentors to me throughout my life, some knowing times and unbeknownst times. I'm going to bring them on here and talk about it one of these days, when they get some time. But you got to have the understanding of a creator. And a lot of us are like, I grew up in the church and I don't care now. That's fine. I'm not your guy. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to say my testimony in my life has been without knowing Christ and since knowing Christ, and not that anything's been boombastic change, and I still cuss like a sailor, and it's like I'm still me. But what somebody else I heard, what happens when you bring God into your life is it brings alignment. And so you get it, like, all the stuff on the outer edges, you just let it go. And so um, by having alignment, I can now focus and channel differently. And so, um, if you're gonna hang out with me to any certain amount of time, you're gonna hear me say the F word loud and proud, and then you're gonna hear me talk about Jesus. And I think we all need to understand those go together. because Jesus was a misfit too, right? And he wants the misfits. And so to think that we're on his level, any of us, would be asinine. And so I'm just doing the best that I can. I'm learning. I try not to habitually sin. And that has brought a sense of comfort and peace in my life that I didn't know existed, because I always was trying to be the cool guy and live two lives and have this funky, mysterious, like after hours person, and then it's like suit and tie and prim and proper in the daytime guy. It's like you can't do that. And so, anywho, there's a lot to be said for what I bring to the table. And so, what I bring to the table is an intense urgency to live this life. And I've always been like that, but I'm embracing that more. And there's people not all over the world, but like there's people all over a lot of places that I have talked to at random and have inspired to a point to live their life uniquely to themselves. And that doesn't mean painting your daggone fingernails and having a pink mohawk or whatever, right? Like that just means like truly living, and deciding what you're worth and what you want to be. And it's not what you want to be is that's not who you are from 9 to 5 or 7 to 3 or 8 to 8, right? That's not who we are. Like, who are we, right? Take your name away. Your parents gave you that name. Take that away. Who are you? Take your job title away. Who are you? Take your parking spot away. Who are you? You know, take your, not like be naked and weird, but like take your clothes, your what's that called? Your wardrobe, and get rid of your wardrobe. You don't have the names on the collars and on the hats and stuff. You don't have a $700 hunting jacket, right? Whoa, it's amazing stuff. But anyway, right? Like take all that stuff away. Who are you? What do you do? What do you bring to Earth? What do you bring to the human experience with people around you? Some pretty, they're not deep, but they're deep questions, right? And so like that's the kind of stuff that if you're going to have change, you're going to have to be able to be asked those questions, and be able to answer them, and not necessarily to the person asking them, but to the man in the mirror. And that's the only person that this is all about. And so, what do you bring to the group? Bring whatever you want. Bring what works for you. Bring what didn't work for you for so long that you finally cracked the code, and you're like, oh man, this is working good. Because to be honest, dudes, there's still a handful that are on the interacting level that exude a lack of confidence. They exude what I call, I don't call nothing nothing, but like there's dudes in here that know they have more to offer, but they're afraid to fail, right? I think we're all afraid to fail. That's why we don't go do the next thing, the next hard thing, because we can just succeed where we're at. And I think understanding failing is actually opportunity, right? If you fail a whole bunch, you're trying. And so we got, I mean, just there's a few professions you don't really want to fail at, but there's some professions fail at them some. Like that's how you get good. So that's the kind of things that ruminate, and that's the kind of things that I talk about. I don't talk about sports teams or that kind of stuff, right? It's just I don't care. Um, that's a whole thing that I don't even get into anymore because it just doesn't go anywhere. But like the guys that hunt, and Ty posted he's doing weighted rucks because he bought some tags out in the mountains. Like I wanna. You guys already know what you're doing better than I do, but what I would like to do is get with people like that are like, hey, I live at 800 feet altitude and I train and I'm training as hard as I can, but when I get to 10,000 feet, like it's a whole different game up there. And so, like, there's things we can do, and I'm sure that you guys are learning that stuff, but there's a handful of these hunters, and I'm like, man, that is an awesome group of dudes to like get involved in personal training, because if you're doing the best you can do, but you haven't looked anything up, or you don't know intervals or any of that stuff, right? Like, you're doing something, but you could be more efficient with it. And so there's just that kind of thing. There's guys that raised kids and got fat just because of time. Like, that's fine. I'm whatever, right? So like, you want to get off the couch, I'm your guy. Or old school athletes or military guys that like still got it, but they're a has been in their own head even, and that's fine too. I've been that person. Um, and so like, understanding the body is more than compartmentalized muscles or organs. Understanding that everything's connected in here, but also out there. Uh, that's what I bring to the table. And at this age and time frame in life, I can, and you can. We can be exactly what we want to be, and we can kind of put out what we want or what we offer. Um, if you've got kids that need that next level of intensity um, in training, I'm your guy. I can get kids. I'm not forcing them. I can get kids to do things they didn't never knew. They never knew were possible. I don't know what it is, but some of these kids are super athletic. Some of them aren't. That's fine. We don't all have to be athletic, but we do need to be able to move our body. We do need to be able to protect our family, protect our home, all that stuff. So all this stuff goes together, and I would like to get where I do group fitness for fire departments, police departments, and those kind of guys. But what I really want to see those guys, at least the police side of the house, I really want to see those guys getting in jujitsu training. So I would do what I could do to get them to jujitsu training. And there again, every little aspect of something can have a discipline that goes with it. Not everybody needs to go roll jujitsu. Not everybody needs to do kickboxing. Not everybody needs to whatever. But like what your end goal is, what pieces of the puzzle do you need to get there? Nothing is just linear. Nothing's just one thing. Um, so so I'm a guy that you can sit down and say, "Here's my goals," or not even if you don't have a goal. I can even help you with a goal just by what you want, right? And that's essentially kind of a goal. But like, formulate some goals, and then set those priorities of a goal. And then if your goal is here, I might throw you one right here, just real immediate, but you didn't think about it, and there's no problem to that. But like, we all think that we know, and we don't need anybody's help and all the things, and it's just like, it's not about that. It's about that think tank idea of brewing ideas together and bringing ideas together. I'm sorry, to let them come out. And so um, that's what Dude Reset is. That's what you bring to the group. Like, who do I call for this? Or I'm thinking about this. Yes, there's AI, and yes, there's Google, and yes, we all have friends, but it's like, some of them don't. Some don't have friends that do this. Some don't have friends that do thousands of calisthenics in a day. Um, so there's a mind thing that comes with this, and I want you all to get that the not quitting drinking. There's zero good medically, scientifically, socially. There's nothing good that comes from drinking. But why don't we want to quit? you know? So understanding some of this stuff, and going to that next level, that next layer, understanding how powerful the mind is, like, if you can't do 50 air squats and you can't quit drinking, then mindset shift, because we need to be able to do one or the other for sure. So why? Well, What happens if you gotta like carry your whole family out of a ditch sometime in the middle of the night when it's wet out? Because that's the scenario is you have to carry your family up a ditch in the middle of the night and it's wet grass. That's the mission. Can you do that? So little things like that, like you need somebody in your life that's going to make you question things. You need somebody in your life that is so absolutely stoked for you that you can't fathom it. That somebody is more stoked for your life than you are, right? Like to have somebody like that in your corner. Some of us have never had that. Um, some of us don't know what it's like to be like, like really genuinely motivated. You know, like inside when your nerves and your cells and it's just locked in. You know, some of us get it when we hear a certain part of a song or have a certain memory of something, you know, but like that's just a fleeting moment. Like being able to tap into that, now we're talking, right? So some people are designed to level up in life. Some people aren't. And that's another thing that we all have to understand. Like if you want to just accept, it's called acceptance, your existence for what it is, like you're in that I'm not gonna level up club, and then you may or may not know that, right? And that's okay. The ones that know there's something else out there and they accept what's happening but don't do anything about it, those are the ones that get gnawed at, right? They're the ones that live that real. You can just tell it's an unhappy life. The ones that don't know they don't know, ignorance is bliss. They're just cruising, right? And then you got freaks like me that like just never stop digging, right? Every single thing makes sense to me. You know, it's not that I agree with everything, but like it makes sense. there's there's so many plausible scenarios for so many things that like it probably is. Whatever it is, it probably is. And so um, having somebody in your corner with a mindset of true mental freedom, a true understanding of like not all globe, but like a good chunk of the earth, you know, and humanity as a whole, different religions. Um, that's me. I've traveled. I could tell you guys my whole crazy story, but I should just write a book, and I think I probably will. But like I bring a diversity that just doesn't exist, and that's not tooting my own horn. It's not. I'm not claiming that's good or anything, but it like there's just not a lot of people like me out there, and now I know why. And it's not that I'm doing anything crazy good or awesome, or I'm like some stand-up citizen in my community. Like I'm pretty disgruntled. I kind of don't put up with too much BS, but here I am, right? So it's like that's who I am. That's what I bring to the table. I bring a, a level of existence that will allow one to ponder their own existence in a manner in which they get to decide what's better for them. And I know that was a little thing, but I sometimes I get real jammed up in trying to put sentences together, and I talk real fragmented and shit. But like really, like having somebody that thinks far out, that is super intense, but like really, 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 really compassionate. Like that's a good person to have. You know, like I keep saying like I must have been around a teenage girl recently or something. That kind of sounded a bit weird. I have a teenage stepdaughter, and she has friends. That's that. uh, I don't say like very often. That's why it got weird. But anyway, oh, just turning in. Cool. Kendall Manners. Let's talk about that. Dude Reset and what it's about. So I've been inviting people to go run the dam with me for however long that's been going on. 6 months or better. Haven't had a single soul out there. Kendall puts on here he's going to start running the stairs, and I truly did miss the first one, but I went to the second one, 6:30 in the morning on a Saturday with my wife, and I show up and he's there with his gal, and they are straight getting it. And so, guys, that is what Dude Reset's about. It's about saying, hey, I'm doing this to better myself. Do you want to come along and hang out? Because that's just what we're doing. So that's what Dude Reset is, and I hope to make more of those. And I hope uh, I hope he does it more, and maybe we can get more people going or do something, right? And one of these guys in the group that was reaching out the other day, he's like, you see these other small towns, and there's just a shift of people trying to get healthier, and the towns kind of get trendier, or they, it's just like, I want to say people are trying. Um, and around here, in this particular area, there's a certain culture, and I'm an outcast. I'm an outcast in this culture, and I like that, but like it's hard to get through to some people because they sit in that mind that is in the past of I used to do this or I did that, and they don't. Got to be careful here. A lot of times, one doesn't know what the future holds, right? But like also not knowing how much control we have over the future, and so um, participating in your own existence, and always showing up, you're never going to do the same thing, right? It's not like you're going to go do the little little first 3 weeks of getting healthy again, and it's like it sucks, but like you're not, that doesn't last forever, right? Last 3 weeks, and then you do the next 3 weeks, and then the next 3 weeks, and then you get to years, and I'm on like year 3 or 4 now, and it's like I finally got a bicycle, and it's like I've been wanting a bicycle for a long time, but it's like do what you can do with what you got where you're at, Jack. Like do some push-ups. Everybody got a step, a street, and ground, right? We can do things. We can transform ourselves, but it's all up here. We think we need this, or we need to go here. I need this scenario, or this situation, or oh, this timing got off, or I feel like this today, or my kid had to do that, or my wife is this, and it's just like guarantee it, right? You do that, whatever the thing is, and then you go do the other thing. That's all. But then we want, oh, I got to do, I gotta, and so what ends up happening is we put that 1 to 3 pounds on as a man, 1 to 3 pounds a year, and you do that for 20 years, starting now. That's why you dead in 20 years from now, 45, 65, like, so that goes back to the importance of just understanding this is what we have to do. And so now with the personal trainer course and what I've learned and how to implement it appropriately and how to track it and follow it and progress it and the whole thing, right? Like I want to be able to take somebody off the couch and they never go like they never want to turn back in, and they never go, man, like in a bad way. It's just such a natural ease of progression that you don't even know what's happening. And if you're already doing stuff, then by golly, we can get after it. So this Sunday, let me think about this Sunday. Probably. Pardon me while I do a little looking here. I don't know why I look at a calendar like I got something going on. Um, Dude, Sunday, sunny and 64. So I'm gonna say yeah, I'll be there about 1ish. And I'm gonna say the dam is easier than the stairs, man. The stairs are shorter, stepped, so you're either stepping a bunch more, whether you're taking bigger steps to skip one, and they're shorter in height, so to speak, like not the step itself, but the distance from bottom to top. And so your up and down is moving faster. So I think, I mean, I obviously it was my first time the other day, and I didn't know the rhythm and all the things, but my heart rate went up. It didn't get as high, but it went up and kind of stayed at a high elevated place. Whereas when I go to the dam, because I run the full ones, which is like 2 tiers, or you run the top half, which is still gnarly. But you get the time to come down, and like not that it takes 3 minutes or nothing, but you get time to catch your breath. And I had come down backwards at the dam because it's good for your knees and your hips and all the things. And at the stadium, I was coming down, forward. So there's just there again different modes, and so one's not better than the other. Being able to do both, that's what we need to be able to do. So yeah, if anybody wants to come to the dam Sunday and find out it's just in your head, start getting over that stuff. Yeah, I come home and get something to eat, kind of mellow for a second. Then I head out there and get out there at about 1, and I say we'll kick off about 1:30. I told you it takes me a little bit to warm up. There again, part of the process, but you warm up pretty quick out there. So yeah, we'll run those. We'll run out of the dam on Sunday, and I didn't run this Sunday, not after Saturday. Uh, all right, I've been blabbing for a while, but it's kind of been appropriate. We're still back to the foundation. We're still back to the roots. We have to do the small things consistently to get to the big things. You're never gonna get what you want, that big pie in the sky out of life, if you don't do the small things. I've learned that. Um, my experiences of failure and the different ways of life and places I've lived and jobs that I've worked and people I've worked with, like I just have such a unique view. And then you add TBI to it with like not giving a flip. So it's like there's just such this unique angle, and so the honesty that I have is real and sincere, and my enthusiasm for life, it's overwhelming. I'm hoping this bicycle is going to be able to wear me out a little bit, and I can find some true balance because it really does. I wear people out, and I get it, but like that's okay too. So I'm going to figure out how to wear people out appropriately. So sign up. uh, the other thing we like to talk about in here that people like to hear about is the food stuff. And so, just touching on the food stuff, guys, don't buy food with ingredients. Think about it. All right. What'd you have for dinner? Where did it come? Not where did it come from ultimately, but like, what is it? Did you have steak, potatoes, and broccoli? Or did you have hamburger helper, honey buns, and freaking yoo-hoo? Anybody drink yoo-hoo? Quit. God. Um, I don't want to sound. I don't want to sound. I don't want to sound mean or whatever, but do you dudes do you know when you're looking at an ingredients list on a package of food or drinks or whatever, like do you know what you're looking at? Do we need to talk about that kind of stuff and like break down what a nutrition label is and what that means to us inside our body? Because all of us grew up in the old ways and the old thought process on the calories and what to eat in a day and what we think is right. So um, I'm not a nutritionist. I have very good basic food knowledge, and I have to be careful because inside my personal trainer scope of practice, I can't. I got to be real careful with the food stuff. I could talk basics and basic nutrition, but I can't give meal plans and all that stuff. And do reset. I can talk about food differently because this is an open, free forum. And so yeah, so don't buy food with ingredients, right? So like I eat eggs. That's it. I put salt on the eggs. Eggs and salt. That's it. Right? I eat rice. Just rice. White rice. I steam it in the little rice cooker. I don't do anything. I just put it in there and I hit the thing, right? So those are my two main things I eat in a day. And then on top of that, I'll either eat tuna out of a can, chicken breast, so it's chicken, or steak. And when we eat hamburger, unless it's our cow that we took to the locker and had it hooked up ourselves, when we go to the store and buy ground beef, do you guys understand this? This is crazy to think about. And it can get really unique quick. But when you eat ground beef, even a McDonald's quarter pounder, yay big, yay thick, right? There could be meat in there, beef, meat, fat, whatever, like up to 400 cows because it's all mixed and ground, right? Like you, industrial scale, commercial scale stuff scares most people. We can't fathom the process of what it takes on a scale to do things at that size. Um, so then back, let's talk about it. So if we're eating a hamburger from a fast food joint, so now we got beef from 400 cows. You have 400 energies going into this, and then you got however many people touched that along the way, and then the person that took your order, the person at McDonald's that throws it on the hot griddle, to the one that throws it in the bag, to the one that throws it at you, right? Every single person that touches that, this it gets hippie, but it's real. Their energy goes into that, and so if you have energy from shitty cows getting shitty food in shitty conditions that get butchered in shitty conditions around other cows that gets butchered in shitty conditions, and they have all that death energy because there's you can pop one and they don't even know it, right? And the meat doesn't get all crazy. It's all the same thing we talk. I don't know. I don't know how much we know or don't know. But anyway, it's something to think about, right? And so you go to a fast food joint and get a little chicken sandwich. Like that's murdered, not murdered. I don't want to use that word. Mashed up chicken parts from who knows how many chickens, right? And then they put 30 different ingredients, maybe up to 50 different ingredients to make the batter to fry it in, right? So you just think about the number of things that have come to that at that point. And so then we're chicken, beef, whatever, hamburger, chicken sandwich at a fast food joint, a gas station, whatever, right? The bun, the bread is, it's not bread and it's not even, it can't even be classified as cake because it's just so gnarly. But like Subway bread isn't bread, it's cake. There's so much sugar, enriched white flour. It's just barely flour, barely comes from wheat or barley, right? Barely, and then they just pummel ingredients into this thing to get it substantial enough that our body can utilize it somewhat, right? So when you talk about the old biblical days of eating bread and grain and that kind of stuff, it's we're talking about totally different plants, totally different existences, totally different nutrient contents. We can fast forward it to today and have an organic tomato in this hand. And if we want to eat regular tomatoes, not even talking about the pesticides and herbicides, just the tomato nutrient content from an heirloom organic, it's going to take you roughly 7 to 9 tomatoes of non organic status to get the nutrient content. So people say organic food's expensive. Yes, it is. However, when you can eat one tomato versus 9, it's cheaper. So understand some of that stuff. Don't get your calories from liquid, guys. Hawaiian punch, sweet teas, peace teas, Arizona teas, pure leaf teas, anything sweet teas, it's just sugar. It's just sugar and chemicals. Um, so when you go out to eat, get your unsweet tea. I used to love sweet tea, and I learned what was in it. And I saw how much sugar was in it. And I said, "There's no way that's good long term," and it's not. It's proven. So, yeah, liquid calories get us. That's what makes us fat. Uh, so just eat food that is the food, right? Like I went to a guy. He's in the group, and I went. He's a mechanic, got his own shop, and I went to his shop one day, and he's got his little concoctions of squirters to make his water taste good. And he's like, "Oh man, I got this mango and this coconut, whatever, or something. I was like, why don't you just get a mango and a coconut and put that in there, and you can have like a 5 gallon jug of water, and you can have it infused, and it's fresh all day, or even a couple of days. So it's just the little things like that, right? So like one of my things is if you have to open plastic to eat it, like it's probably not good, right? Um, so keep it simple. Um, and there's always exceptions, but make the exceptions the exception. Make the normal, and those little habits, those daily habits, is what is who we are. And so you just have to start. You just have to start. And then when you mess up, whiskey. If you're gonna drink, tequila is truly the best one straight in that whole world. Um, but alcohol has 7 calories per gram. Fat's 9 calories per gram. Protein and carbs, I think, are 4. So that's how you get your calorie count when you count your macros is your protein, fats, and carbs. But then drinkers, you have to add that alcohol. You're getting 7 calories a gram of that stuff. So it's just not good. The alcohol is not good, but I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I'm just going to say that it's proven that it's just not good for us. And here's the other thing. This is the biggest thing that we all need to understand. And even you, Kendall, I'm not calling you out, but you asked about it. If we're drinkers or even drink a little bit, even light socially, if we have alcohol in our system, we're not ever gonna burn fat. Seriously? Yeah, that's how the system works. So if you're drinking and you're like, man, I'm eating good, pretty solid, doing better, and up in my water and get a little movement in, and that scale's not gonna shift for months. So patience is our big thing, but like it's just not going to shift over time. And so, understanding when we talk about booze not being good, it's not good on any level, right? So, I'm not going to talk about I'm not going to get on booze preaching, but sorry, Bubby, I was trying to not kick you. I'm a good boy. My dog sits right at my feet, and I can't lift my foot up high enough. But anyway, yeah. So the alcohol. That's why we talk about the alcohol. Uh, we covered a lot tonight, guys. I try to progress, to be honest, um, and then I feel like I don't have to come back, but like we, some of us are on a very baseline level, and it's fine. I remember when I was like on the baseline level of like I got to learn some stuff. Some stuff ain't right, guys. When I was like 20, no, how old would I have been? Like 29, 28, 29. I had I was a walking heart attack. I had my blood pressure checked a couple times. I've talked about this briefly. And it was like 208 over 140 something. Outlandish, absolutely outlandish. And so that followed up shortly after with what I'm still fighting with now, this eosinophilic esophagitis stuff in my gut. But yeah, swallowing Copenhagen, and absolutely, I was one of the best binge drinkers on earth. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved chugging anything with booze in it to party as hard as I absolutely could. And I'm talking about as much and as fast as I could do it, right? Um, it only made everything better uh, until it doesn't, right? So coming off the booze is going to have a much more significant. You're gonna feel that and see that much more than anything else. I think nicotine's a close second, um, but then again, our food supply. Uh, hey, a whiskey Friday and Saturday evening, brother man, do it. If it's 3 whiskeys and 4 whiskeys and 5 whiskeys, and it's Thursday and Friday and Saturday and Sunday, we all know, we all know. But yeah, that's I'm not going to argue with it. And there's scientific reports that they say 1 or 2 drinks a week is good for you because of the way the alcohol kills the dead cells and all the things. I'm not gonna argue it. I'm not into it, but yeah, I don't argue it, guys. I love drinking. I had no problems with drinking. Drinking was not a problem for me until the very literal end, and then that's when I found out. And even Jared talked about this. I think no, he wasn't there last week. No, he was. Anyway, whenever we were talking about drinking, and Jared, I had one more thing to say, and it's like sometimes alcoholics don't know drinking's a problem until they stop. And so we'll just keep drinking. Well, totally, but no, because it multiplies and magnifies, and then we die. But like when you quit, like if you're sipping there, and you quit here for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks here, then you're like, oh man, I have a little bit this weekend. Like you never stopped. A, it never got out of your system. B, right? Um, but like what that does, oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, when you do that, there's no problems, right? And so sometimes until we stop, that's when we see the problem. And it's not necessarily because of what is happening. Because we stop, we start to now be able to see and reflect on how we were or who we were or what we said or how we said it. But when you're in the drinking world, it's like, oh, I was drunk, whatever, piss off, deal with it. Well, like when you're out of that world, like that seems absolutely crazy. And those behaviors and those actions and those words, uh, it's yeah, I guess I can say I have problems with it at times, but you don't see it till it's over, and then you got to look back, and then you got to feel guilty, and nobody wants to feel guilty, so then we go back to it, right? And there again, I'm not a psychologist, so I don't want to try to tackle the why we can't stop, but if it's not a problem, it's not a problem. Come hang out with me 5 or 6 days a week, and we'll see if it's a problem. You know what I mean? Uh, and we can do this online. You don't got to be here in real life, right? Most of this stuff is online anyway. So if you guys are like, man, I'd love to jump on your train here, but like I'm 1,000 miles from you. Cool. We're doing this. We'll just get more efficient with it. I don't know. I'm gonna get a new phone sometime soon, but the reality is I got to do what I got to do with what I got where I'm at. Let's see. So I think we're kind of getting into some closing. We've had some comments here from Kendall, which is awesome. Um, I'm gonna kind of start closing out, but like we in this video we talked about like stripping ourselves down and taking everything away of who we think we are. Like, I mean, you could say the house, but like the house, you worked for it. I don't want to strip you who you worked for, but like you know what I'm saying. Take away the things, and who are you? Take it away, and who are you? And who do you want to be? That's the other thing. Being able to analyze your life and saying this is who I am, and this is who I want to be. Right? Start doing that. And if it's like once the scales tip, there's no turning back. So, uh, Kendall says I stopped drinking every day for Lent. I didn't get drunk every day, but drank 1 to 3 beers or drinks a day. Did you give up anything for Lent? What I gave up for Lent, and I honestly I've done a pretty good job. And you're going to say no, that don't work. I gave up my attitude, man. I I don't want to say suffer because it's not a suffer. I have to deal with stuff with this TBI that most people with TBIs do, um, and I allowed myself to let myself escalate with no real justification. Um, and so what I've said for Lent was that I just said I wanted to get rid of my bad attitude because that's just the short way of me knowing it, but it was grabbing control, not control, grabbing the understanding of who I am in a day and what happens. And I think we all can benefit from that, like uh, we're all going to have moments of fluster and moments of chaos and moments of happiness and gratitude and all that stuff and excitement, adrenaline and heartbreak and heartache, all that stuff. Sometimes all in a day, sometimes all in an hour. But it's how we deal with that is who we are. And so I've gotten better and better, but then I'd still have moments, and so like that was my Lent goal. Was did I measure it on a calendar to do the thing right? Like, no, because I don't really participate in that, but uh, it's worked, and I have, and I've noticed in my own existence, like even today, I had to yell at my dog, like get over here, come on, like just one of those, like come on, like I'm tired of waiting on you, and I I felt that tone. I had to project my voice, and that is a trigger for me because I lose my shit. I fucking lose it. And so when my tone comes, it's a trigger. Then it dumps the adrenaline, and then I that's the snowball. And so what I'm trying to do is with the ibogaine treatment I did, I've gotten a lot better at just being more aware of my headspace. But sometimes I still have that. We're dudes. We're gonna snap. But like I get ugly with it, and so that's my Lent thing. I let God in, and I took my ego out, not all the way, but like I took that part out, and so it's a big thing. I know it doesn't maybe sound whatever and convey that way, but in my world it is, and there it is. That's a dude reset thing, and that's me being better to my wife, uh, being better to my daughter and my stepchildren. I don't like saying that phrase, but even tonight at dinner, my little Presley, we were talking about something, and I was like, nah, and I just couldn't let myself just let it go. And I was like, I hear you, and I understand you completely, and I agree 1,000%. But I had a but, and it was just like, why? I didn't get too. It started to get elevated, but I recognized it, and there again, you're sitting across from an innocent little gal, and it's like you don't want to, even in a defensive debate about a topic, you still don't want to get riled up, right? And so we've worked on it a lot together as a family, and me as a person. So I've already given up drinking and all the things. So when I give up for Lent, like there's nothing to give up, so to speak. So I had to dig and go, what do I need to work on with myself? And that's always going to be a thing with me. So, and I got my shirt on, my Vigilance Elite, Guts Church, Vigilance Elite, Sean Ryan show, and then Guts Church down in Tulsa. Like, it's a part of me now, guys, and I think everybody can benefit from it. I get to see Kendall most every single Sunday. I've missed the last couple for different reasons, but you get to see a guy, and like they're doing what they're doing it right, and then you get to then go see him on a morning as the sun's cracking and go sweat and like have that little struggle together, and then you have that little bond, like we did that, like that shit sucked, and that's a military thing, guys, and military guys, we're good at that, embracing the suck and like bonding afterwards, and most people are, but most people don't put themselves in shitty situations, and so they don't have that reward afterwards, but like you see guys, and I post on that picture, that's what this is all about, man. Bringing your chick to a 6:30 Saturday run in the cold, bro. We got to figure it out. So jump on board. Like, I'm not tooting. I mean, I am kind of tooting, but like, there's a reason that you see dudes that are happy and successful, right? And then you see dudes that are just like can't get it together. That was me for centuries, right? Just spinning your wheels, and like I've always wanted to be, have positive examples, and it's like, what are you doing to do that? Like, why is that working for you? And that's the same thing you talk to Jared. Like, if you want to talk to an expert, talk to an expert. It's probably going to cost you, but you don't need to go sit at Harvard for 4 years to get some profound knowledge, right? Find the person that has it and say, hey, what's it going to take for me to gain some of that? Because most of the time, the person with the knowledge, they want to share it. All right. Good job. We enjoyed it again. These Tuesday things are cool. Some nights we'll bring guests on and talk about a topic. Some nights we'll shoot from the hip. Some nights we're going to talk about the basics. Because the basics is where it's all at, guys. You got to start on a foundation. Firm, solid foundation. Because if not, it's just going to crumble. So, If you want to improve, you got some fitness, some health, some things, right? If you can't touch your toes, call me. We don't have to be stowed up and can't move at our age, right? Um, we don't have to let old injuries stop us from enjoying life. Uh, so many wonderful things to say. You dudes are awesome. Eat right, exercise, sleep right, and the rest will kind of fall in place. So if you have any questions with any of that stuff, please feel free to hit me up. Understand that I will give the appropriate amount of information, and then you will also understand when you have experienced some things on your own, your questions will be different. And with that, be good, dudes. If you can't be good, you better be good at it. Love you guys.